Hey, beautiful Anna. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, I'm absolutely loving interviewing such beautiful mamas. And I know we don't actually know each other, which is so wonderful when women come and say, hey, I'm a bit nervous, but I really want to share my story.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. You've had your rescue remedy or your vodka or, however.
Shh.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone.
It's only 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know. It's like, shh, don't tell anyone. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I know we're going to have an absolutely magical conversation.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, thank you. It's amazing what you're doing. I've watched quite a few of them, and they've just been, it's so nice to hear everybody's story and what they're up to, and just give us an insight into, such amazing people around as well, isn't there? So
absolutely, it's all about the power of the sisterhood.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
The more beautiful women you can have in your space,
Yep.
The more powerful you will become as well. So it's all about bringing beautiful women together and connecting and sharing, and of course working with each other.
Yeah,
collaboration is amazing. So yay! So I'd love you to share with us what do you do, Anna?
Well, I'm a kinesiologist. And I have two main focuses with who I work with. So the first one is working with kind of healing family relationships. So working with families, whether it's around sibling rivalry or parent-child, difficulties, and really starting to heal some of the wounds there, to really bring families and strengthen families. So that's one area that I work in. The other area is birth. And really supporting women around birth, so preparing for birth and clearing the fears and anxieties that we have going into labour, and also about being a parent. It brings up so much. It's such a huge rite of passage, isn't it? And as we're going into birth, not only is it the kind of the actual labour, but it's also about how our life is going to change and how we're going to be as a parent. So it's supporting women around that. But then the other side of that is also helping women around birth trauma. So many people have had a lot of birth trauma. And it doesn't even have to be that it was a horrific birth or it was a bad birth. But I think almost all births have had some element of trauma. And it might just be our perspective of it, or it might be something that actually physically happened. But what I'm finding is when I'm working around this area, birth is such a raw time, it's such an intense time, it's such a primal time, that it kind of gives us this window or this kind of gateway into a lot of our core beliefs and our core wounds that we hold, because we're so vulnerable at that point. And so really when I'm working with women around birth, we're really being able to really find those core beliefs which stretch, they stretch our whole life, from childhood, and they go into our business and how we are as an adult and our relationships and all this sort of stuff. But birth is, I think, what I'm finding is so amazing is because birth is such this concentrated time. We can really, and the signs are so clear, the messages are so clear in birth that we can really access those very, easily, or a lot more easily. And so it's an amazing gateway into our kind of core beliefs and woundings that we're holding.
Absolutely. And I think, I've shared my birth story in many different platforms. And I think it's a story like many women who go into birth for the first time. It's just the hugeness of it. Doesn't matter how, it's like motherhood. It doesn't matter how many books you read or how much raspberry tea you drink or how, the plan just goes straight out the window, because it is just like powerful, right?
Yes.
And my birth with Leia was an emergency cesarean, and it was just not, I hadn't even had a conversation about having a cesarean with my doctor. It was just not on my radar. Right? It's like, I'm not going to have one. I love yoga and I'm really powerful and I'm going to have a natural birth. And it just didn't flow that way for me. I was traumatized for at least a year of the mental, trying to let go of that I didn't have this dream birth. And then I couldn't breastfeed properly. And it was just this whole, really the beginning of a lot of drama in my life, because then I went through a divorce. So it really wasn't the most glorious start to motherhood. But with my daughter, when I repartnered and had Luna, I was just so determined to have a natural birth. I just felt it was my right as a woman.
Yes.
Like millions and millions of women have been honored to, it's a rite of passage. And I fought, and I had to sign waivers, and it was like, I'm having a VBAC. And that's what I got. I got this beautiful drug-free, so it was intense, but it was magic. She was born in water on a full moon. Her name was Luna. My partner was my doula. And honestly, the connection it brought us as a couple was so profound. I was in an oxytocin bubble for at least 6 months.
Yeah. And that's beautiful.
It was empowering. I mean, yes, the thought of doing it again was like, wow, I'm not sure if I want to go down there again. Like, it was enormous.
Yeah.
But the power of being of your womanhood.
Yes.
And being able to do that. And of course, I watch a birth video. Beautiful Kim Ewing, who's in this group, shared her birthing video.
Okay,
and you're just in tears, man. Like, you're just crying. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there is so much wounding of the sisterhood, and so much healing that comes from birth.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing that is really, for me, is about us because it is about us stepping into our power, isn't it? Yes. It's about us finding our voice. It's about bringing birth back to women. It shouldn't be a medical intervention. Yes, it's not a medical thing. Yes, we need that backup, and that's amazing. We're so fortunate to have that, and that's wonderful. But it shouldn't be the first thing that we go to is an obstetrician. It shouldn't be the first thing that we talk about is the interventions. What pain relief do you want? What do you want a cesarean? All these sorts of things. And I mean, I think one thing that I've really also, because I'm similar to you, I had a very traumatic first birth, and then I had a beautiful home birth, water birth and everything. But what I'm really recognizing is that, it doesn't matter what your ideal birth is. If you want a cesarean, that's perfect,
Absolutely.
But there's a way for us to have, and I think one of the most beautiful births that I watched was actually a cesarean, and this woman had set up, I don't know if you've seen the video, she set it up where the lights were down, the surgeons were quiet, they were respectful, there was mirrors, there was music playing, and the baby crawled out of her tummy. I mean, she crawled out of her tummy and then was placed, and I was in floods. And for me, it's about us finding that, so that no matter what if you want an epidural, great, but have it on your terms. If you want to have a cesarean, have it on your terms. And it's really, because sometimes you can get this whole kind of, home birth is the be all and end all, and that's not the case. For some of us, yes, absolutely. But for a lot of us, it's not. I completely agree, and it's really about us being able to say, this is what I need, this is what I want. How can you support me in that? Rather than the way it is. It is.
Absolutely. I'm all about, if you want to have a cesarean, that is 100%. We honor that. We fully respect that. Yeah. And for me, I just, the fear for me was very much around having a similar experience. Even if I'd known that I was booked in and I'd got my hair and nails done, and you see all those photos, people who go down that road, which is great. It's a celebration. You're bringing life into the world. But I just wanted skin on skin. I didn't get that with my son. I wanted to be in this bliss bubble. I wanted to experience having it. And yes, I did have, I couldn't sit down for a week. It was really intensely painful. I didn't get that from a cesarean. Like, there was very different experience, but the recovery was extraordinarily quick. And the breastfeeding was so much easier second time around. I think you're just a lot more relaxed, right? You're a lot more in the zone when you have 2 kids.
Yes.
To enjoy motherhood, you really actually need to have another baby.
To realise how easy the first one actually was.
Yeah, you kind of like, you're just not as anxious, you know, like
No.
it's just, and I'm really present with Luna because I know that she's so little for such a short time.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
2 next month, and I'm like, wow, you know, like she's not a baby anymore. And I actually went to a barbecue with my beautiful friend Amy, who's actually set up the Australian Birth Trauma Association, which is a charity, because she had a natural birth, but she had such bad prolapse, and that was so traumatic for her that so she empower women through making the right choice. Cesarean was the right choice for her second time round, and that's absolutely important to be honoured. Anyways, she had a big sister party for her daughter who's 3, and we went on Sunday, and her little baby's like 6 weeks old, and she's so beautiful, and there's just something so magical about newborn babies. So I really believe birth is profoundly important for women on their terms, and that it is active, and you are not lying in a hospital bed with your legs strapped in stirrups, you know, like that's ridiculous the way the media portrays it. And one of my really dear friends, Nadine Richardson, is founder of She Birth, and I did her birthing program with Luna, and we're really great friends, and she's Luna's godmother, and she now has, her research has been published in the British Medical Journal. She has like a world-renowned program now where it's all about having a beautiful birth, however that unfolds, but it is like 90% natural. Because the benefits comes with a natural birth. The baby goes down the canal, you know, gets all those beautiful juices and benefits. And you know, there are, like, I know with my son, he gets very his cranial area is tight, and I've taken him to a kinesiologist, and the first thing she said to me was, did you have a cesarean? You know, like, you start to see effects later on in the child's life.
Definitely.
So I'd love you to share with us more around why you do what you do. You know, like, you've had these 2 incredibly different but profound experiences with birth, and how did that lead you to becoming a kinesiologist?
I think there's a couple of things. I used a kinesiologist, because when I became pregnant with my son, I walked into the hospital, burst into tears, and went, can't do this. And I was just like, right, okay, I'm going to have to, do some serious work here if I want to, have the birth that I want. And so I got a private midwife and a doula, and I did hypnobirthing, but I also had kinesiology. And that was, for me, amazing to really understand that the trauma was held, in my body. It was held in my blood, it was held in my cells, and all the fears that were around and everything. So I did a lot of kinesiology around that. And that, obviously was incredibly affirming when I then had the birth that I did. But it was actually not until my son was 6 weeks old and he had a UTI. He had a really high fever, and I was told to go to emergency because 6-week-old shouldn't have a fever of 39, 40 degrees. So I took him to emergency and did lots of tests, but turned out he had a UTI. So we were on IV antibiotics, and then after that cleared, they're like, okay, so we want to do some tests. We want to find out why he had a UTI. We want to put him on long-term antibiotics, just in case he gets another one. And I was just like, no, wait a minute, no, because I just that I know from a gut flora point of view to have a 6-week hold on antibiotics for that long, it's just not going to happen. And so I took him back to the kinesiologist, and during the session, what she uncovered was that he'd actually, obviously I knew this part, he'd fallen off the sofa a week before. A lot of mummy guilt there, but so he'd fallen off the sofa and got a real shock. Now, what happens was when we get a shock and we don't know how, our body doesn't know how to deal with it, we search through our own kind of history, and then we search through the time that we're in utero, and then we search back through our DNA. So all of our ancestors and the way that they have dealt with shock or trauma. He had picked up a pattern of inflaming his urethra, which was passed down my husband's line. And that was his stress response. And so by identifying that and really, and clearing it, so he's never had a UTI ever again, I suddenly just at that point I went, oh my goodness, I've just changed his life. It was just this light bulb moment of oh my goodness, if we hadn't have done that and we'd have done the long-term antibiotics and we'd gone down all the tests, we'd have never found anything because there was no physical reason for him to have the UTI.
Yeah,
but every time he got into a stress response, he would end up having a UTI. And so I could just see how it could have gone and how it did go. And for that, I just came home to my husband and I went, we're either going to see a kinesiologist all the time and we're going to spend a mountain of money seeing a kinesiologist, or I'm going to study. And he was just like, well, you better go and study then, haven't you? So that was really...
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was that, because it was just such a light bulb moment. And then I think, as I studied, sorry, it's a really long answer to this, because there's so many elements to this, because as I started to study, and I realized how much we inherited and how much comes down our line and how kinesiology can really access that. I had a very difficult teenage time. I was I self-harmed a lot and I was suicidal and what have you, and had a very, very difficult relationship with my mother. And when I started to realize the power of kinesiology and how we can really shift these things, I just was just like, I now have the tools so the buck stops here for my daughter. Because my biggest fear becoming a mother was that history would be repeated, and especially as I had a daughter, that was one of my biggest fears. And I was just like, wow, I now have the tools and the know-how to be able to make sure that all the inherited stuff, all the stuff that comes from me, that that comes down our lines, that I can shift that so that my daughter doesn't have to carry so much of the heaviness that's around.
Wow, that's extraordinary. And did you listen to Helena Ryan, who's in...
Yes, she's amazing as well, isn't she? She's just incredible. Wow. Exactly.
Wow. And I'm definitely, I've got a session booked in with her, and I'm really excited because I can just see that lineage. We've got depression in both sides of our family.
Same.
My son really gets triggered like daily, has meltdowns around very small things, is very sensitive to things, and you just want to help your kids, right? Like you just want to be there and shower them with love and support. And so it's just when you actually look at lineage, you just go, yep, I can really see it. It's just passed down, and it does need to be cleared, and it can be. This is the thing, there's so many wonderful healers out there that can help you. So thank you for sharing that very vulnerable story. And I know that so many women will connect. Like, I actually was a horrendous teenager, and I was telling my son, actually, he just doesn't listen to a word we say, and my dad was very strict. And I said to him, look, Mummy used to stuff clothes in her bed and like jump out of a window, and like pretend she was still asleep. And I was like, look, I was a lot older than you at the time, but I was very naughty, and I got in such trouble, with my dad was so strict. And I said, I don't want to do this with you. I want you to go and play with your friends and have that freedom. But we have to you have to like follow the rule. It's really simple, like just respect us and get dressed. And it's not like we're asking you to do, an extraordinary thing. And I don't want to get to that point where my dad was just so strict with me. I really rebelled against it, and I was a nightmare. And so, you don't want history to repeat itself, but then my son is so like me.
Yes, right? I think that firstborns always are, aren't they?
I'm just like, oh my God, I just see, like, he is just so good at getting what he wants. He's so smart. He's such a good manipulator. Like, everything's a sales conversation and negotiation, and I'm just like, wow, man, you're so awesome. But you are basically me.
Yes. And my daughter's the same. It's exactly that. She is stubborn. She will do exactly what she wants when she wants. I'm like, I don't know where you get that from at all.
I'm like, no idea. Oh, no. And even with Luna, it's like she's a very happy, chilled little angel. But when she wants something, like, I'm not giving up till I'm getting it, and like we can already see she's about to turn 2, and we're like, oh no. Here we go again. You kind of just go, okay, I have to just surrender into that. So
and that's it. I mean, my daughter, as well as having been based, she's got this very negative, really heavy negative cloak, which we're shifting. We're shifting a lot of it. That for me, I can just see, and that was really one of the drivers of just, it's not going to happen to her. I'm not going to have the same things going on for her, and I don't want our relationship to fall apart. I don't want her to feel really as awful as I did as a teenager. So that was a huge motivation.
Beautiful. I think the things you do for your children, like it's extraordinary.
You can't help it,
No, of course not. Like,
no, it's just
we're all the same. I certainly don't want my son. He also has negativity, and there's darkness there, and look, I'm all about there needs to be darkness to find light, but he's only 8.
Yes.
So he shouldn't be having very, very sad thoughts of hopelessness.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's very trivial,
But you can just see, can't you?
It can be fixed quite easily with a hug and a conversation. And at the moment it's really manageable. But when they become teenagers that the hormones are raging and they really can slip away.
Yeah.
And it becomes quite frightening, I think, to be a parent when they are older, because they're so much harder to be that mother and that loving figure.
Yes.
So I think the more healing you can do when they're little, you've got an opportunity to really help them later on in life.
Yeah.
So that's so beautiful. So, we've I guess I ask on the questionnaire I send out, what are your struggles around being able to share this message with the world? Because it's such a powerful message. It's such healing women through birth, or being able to heal the lineage of their children through kinesiology. What struggles do you feel you have about not being able to just change the world with this message?
It's interesting because a lot of my work around birth, and obviously I've had to do a lot of healing myself around my around the birth experiences. And what I've kind of touched on initially is that those core beliefs that we hold and that came up in my birth. So my ones were really about not being supported and not being heard. Those, when I kind of look at my birth, not about the actual practicalities of what happened, but how I felt about it. And how I felt about it was that, I wasn't heard and I wasn't supported. And so those are my stories from childhood, and those are my stories in business. Of not feeling supported, of feeling like I have to do everything, of feeling that the universe hasn't got my back, and that I, even though I've got an amazing business coach and all this, that not utilizing them. And so I've had to do a lot more healing. It's interesting, as I'm stepping more into this role, I'm having to heal more of my birth.
Of course.
To be able to step in, and so my other one about not being heard, and that's probably my biggest one, is not finding my voice. And so, I mean, it's really interesting because I actually did a healing about 10 days ago on this. And then this opportunity arose. Ta-da! Ta-da! So the universe has responded. I found my voice.
Great.
So it's really, I've had to keep going back to my birth, and there'll be many more layers. I really, and this is why I love working with birth, is because it's kind of this concentrated gateway into all of our stories, and the stories that we hold in birth will show up in our business. And I work a lot with women in business who are have unresolved stuff from birth, which are showing up. They might not see the connection, and I think some people go, that's a funny connection, that one. But when you actually dig into not the practicalities of it, but the actual feelings around what happened to you during your birth, then those stories are the same, of how we then are in business, of I still don't feel supported, I still don't feel heard, or whatever it is that your particular story is. And so so these are my struggles, but as I'm healing more of my birth, that I'm able to step more into it.
And then of course you'll teach it. You'll be able to be this phenomenal teacher that is able to teach those lessons. Like, I really believe we teach what we need to learn the most.
Yes.
So I did a speaking gig yesterday, and I'm sharing my story, and I'm talking about manifestation and mindfulness and living in flow and following energy. And and right now I don't have clients, right? I've never not had clients. And I'm sitting in Brisbane and we're trying to create income, and it's frustrating. And I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm meditating, I'm calling in guidance, I'm seeing feathers everywhere. It's like number one is like smacking me on the head. But I'm still frustrated, right? I'm still like, come on, like I'm waiting, I'm trusting. And so there is just this, like, I'm feeling impatient around it. And, with my birth, for me, with my son especially, was this massive element of control that it was not my choice. When I became a single mother, that was not my choice. And we're in a situation now where my partner's looking at working away, right? We need income, right? We need to be able to support our family. That's not my choice, right? I don't want him away from me. We love each other. We want to monetize what we're doing. So much of when I have this conversation with you, I go, things happen to you. It's almost like your worst nightmare. Yeah. Right? So my birth with my son was a nightmare. And then it was everything I didn't want. And then, the breastfeeding and then going through a divorce was like ultimate worst nightmare. And now the fact that Yako might be away and I might be single parenting again, it's a nightmare, right? This is not what I want, but we call it in.
We do, and this, we are actually master manifestors of this story, and I'm exactly the same. I have a husband who works away, so there you go. But I'm not supported. I have created the exact thing that I'm here to heal. In all my relationships, in everything, I have manifested that because this is what I feel. This is what I came in to heal. This is my. What I decided way back, up there, and I went, okay, these are the woundings that I need to heal in this lifetime, and I will keep manifesting it until I heal it.
I'm so with you, Anna.
Completely.
Like, on such a deep level, it's like when I think about him not being with me, I actually start having like a panic attack. Because when I was a single mother, it was just, I found it so difficult. Like I couldn't breathe properly. And that's where my teachings of yoga and mindfulness were so profound. But for me, it's just this intense loneliness. And I remember he went away for a week. He never goes away normally. And I was just straight back into that single mum feeling and being, totally unsupported, totally alone. And it was, I've got this massive network and I'm so surrounded by people I love, but it's about self-love and it's about, stepping back into your power. And of course you would survive. Many people's husbands work away. Many people are parenting alone. You make it happen, you get in flow and you survive. But we do end up manifesting because we are powerful manifestors. We manifest what we don't want as much as we manifest what we do want. And so there's such profound teachings and it's really out of your control. So much of it is I can't make clients come to me. I can't, I've got this new business now and I'm calling in women and it's like, if they want to come and work with me, they will, but I can't force them, right? It's like I stand up yesterday and I present and I can't make them come. They'll come if they want to. And it's really, and I think the more we are frustrated around that, the more we send that out into the universe.
Exactly. And it is, again, just going back to what's the story we're telling ourselves about that? What is it what's that core feeling that's coming up, that core emotion that's coming up, and that's where the work needs to happen again. It just keeps coming up. Okay. Somebody had said to me, your husband, because he's always said he'll come home and work home, but it's never happened, and we've been together, 10, well, whatever, how many years, long time. Sorry, but I can see my role in that. And my role is I need to believe that I'm supported, and until I feel that I'm supported, then the energy that's around isn't going to respond to that. If I say I'm not supported, well then there we go, have a husband who isn't there. That's it. Until I say, okay, the universe and everybody does support me, then it will happen. And so I do see that, and that's where, like I say, with the kinesiology and all that I do is just getting to all those core stories we tell ourselves. And if we can keep getting at those ones, then we make some huge differences, you know, from way back and into, like I said, into our business and everything.
And of course we can change. That's what's so magical about kinesiology and about these things. We may tell ourselves a story, but we need to be able to say, no, I'm not going to create that story because I know that's not ultimately what I want. And yes, it may happen. It may be on my path, but there will be lessons and blessings that come out of that.
Yes.
And so I think we go through this dance of surrender, this jumping from our head to our heart every day, you know, and it's like being able to be in flow and being able to trust and know that you're on the right path. And especially when you see it reflected in your children, that's where you really want to make change, and you really need to call in your support team, whether they're virtual, whether they're ancestors, whether they're your team or whoever that is, so that you do feel this sense of togetherness and being heard and being seen was a massive reason why I'm doing these videos, because I know it's so important for women in business to share their beautiful gifts with the world. So there's so much I'd love to ask you, but you know, how do you stay in flow? So when things when you notice that story, when you notice those patterns coming up, because I am fascinated by this, how do you stop yourself from going down that rabbit hole? Because I know that in terms of the mindfulness I teach, you know, you have a thought and you've got 9 seconds before you attract another thought of that nature, and then you're in the hamster.
And then you're in the spiral going down.
You're in the spiral, and then you're like, oh no, it's going to take me like 3 hours and a lot of ice cream to get back out. So it's kind of like, so I'm pretty good now if I have those thoughts and I have that conversation, I go, no, that's not how it's going to be. That's not my story. I'm going to change that story, and I'm going to shift my mindset and my energy, because it's all energy. And I'm going to get, like, so just for example, I'd just gone to meet a mum I'd met at Lael's school, and her daughter's in the same class as Lael. They're new to the school. We just had this beautiful meeting. She's a psychologist. And the first thing she says to me when we sit down is that she's looking after all these dogs, and she was really late and she was really sorry. But her dream was to actually, you know, create a dog psychology business. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what my partner is doing. We're creating this business right now. So I ring my partner and they have this amazing conversation about the business they want to create together. And I'm like, wow, right? Like, wow, we were meeting up to talk about something completely different. And that to me is just conscious connection. You know, like that is 100% the most beautiful thing that could have happened today, because I know my beautiful man needed a sign that he is on flow. So how do you do that? How do you shift your mindset?
I mean, I also have that, you know, that I guess that of when I'm noticing it coming in, of just going, no, you know, that's just my chat, you know, and I'm not going to go down there. So that's definitely one where you're just in the moment that I will really try and just, you know, stop it and just say, I recognize what's going on and I'm not going to go down there. You know, it's it happens sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. You know, taking myself out, you know, going for an ocean swim, you know, or journaling. But if I'm finding you know, that things are just, you know, smacking me around the head and just keep coming up, then it's, you know, time for a session. I'm like, okay, I think it's time for next layer to be healed. So you know, and that's the amazing thing about, you know, my work, is I can work on myself too. And cool. So if I'm noticing that I'm struggling to shift it, and that I, you know, my other tools, or, you know, journaling or you know, whatever that I do aren't working, and it's coming up a lot, then I will do a session for myself, or I'll call, you know, one of my other friends who are kinesiologists, or and get a session done, because, you know, we hide a lot from ourselves, so there's a limitation to how much work I can do myself, and of course I can kid my no.
Sometimes, you know, you just want to be like held by someone else. You know, exactly. It's like we can do all this work on ourselves, but we really need to be held in the arms of someone else's power. You know, like I've just gone and booked myself every Friday morning. I had these massages down in Byron when we were down there at Christmas. And this woman, she was amazing. Like, she would just get right in there, and I couldn't walk for like 3 days. It was great, right? She's right down in there. I had a really bad back when we were moving. I think my sacral chakra was just so fearful of the change, you know, like I really struggled with a bad back. Anyway, she tells me that she now does these $10 massages in Brisbane on a Friday. And I'm like, oh! And I'm like booking in, like this morning, I'm going to be there like every morning, Friday at 8 a.m., like book me in. And I think it's just taking that inspired action as well.
I've done the same as, you know, of booking. I now book myself in for a month. Each month I have a massage. You know, I've got an amazing friend of mine who's incredible massage. You know, she's very intuitive, so there's always healing involved as well. Do you know, there's always messages that come through. I'm like, I think I might need that. So and that's amazing too. And to really, often, because, you know, my work's often quite, you know, I'm kind of up here, so to really ground myself and embody, you know, and kind of stay connected to my body and kind of my physicality.
It's all in your body, right? Like it's just all there. Like as soon as I feel my back sore, I'm like, right, got to go and fix that, because it's just fear, you know, that's just always in my lower back. It's always the fear that's coming up, you know, I've got to clear that, because the sacral chakra obviously affects all the other chakras, and you can't flow. And so I think being really mindful of that and knowing the signs when you see them, you know, is super important to go and self-care like immediately. You know, book it in, like, because right now.
It's all messages, like you say. It's all messages from our body. You know, whether it's a physical one, or whether it's an emotional one, or a behavioural one. You know, that's what it is. It's your body saying, okay, there's something going on that I can't manage, and it needs attention. And you know, and
absolutely.
that's and so we either listen to it. Or you know, or we suppress it and we take some medication, or we take some, you know, chocolate, or you know, whatever our self-medication is.
Chocolate is fine, you know. Sex is a great one for me. But I think just being mindful that it's okay to take that time out and do whatever it is that you need to do is really important. So Anna, as always, I could chat for hours. And, this has been such a juicy conversation, and I don't know, like I just needed to like offload my stuff today. So
that's good.
For, like, and like always have these like really heartfelt conversations. But like, how can my beautiful mamas find more out about the beautiful work that you do?
Well, I've got my Facebook page, which is Damara Wellbeing. So that's probably the best thing at the moment. I'm redoing my website at the moment, so it's just getting rebuilt. Facebook's probably the best place at the moment. So
thank you for sharing, and
thank you.
So many amazing women out there. Seriously, it's just extraordinary. But I'm so grateful. I'm really, really honoured that you took the time today. So namaste. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much too.